Rafendi Djamin.
Yes, good morning. I see that the dignitaries are already empty, so I don't think I have to observe the protocol anymore, right? So may I now just directly address you as friends of civil society organization, of the Disability People's Organization, representative of national and regional organization, and of course, the friends from IFES and Agenda. It is, of course, an honor for me to be invited here in the 3rd Regional Conference on the access to election for persons with disability as me, as an Indonesian representative to the AICHR, the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission of Human Rights, to deliver this keynote speech. I'd like to congratulate Agenda and its supporters, especially the IFES, for its outstanding achievement since the inception of Agenda back 3 or 4 years ago. I am privileged that since my appointment as Indonesian representative to the AICHR in 2009, I was part of the parties that strongly support the mission, vision of Agenda in ASEAN. And I'm delighted that this year, in 2015, this is my last year representing Indonesia in AICHR. After 2 terms, I am still part of the support of the Agenda. And of course, I would like to support the work of Agenda, even though I won't be representing Indonesia anymore in the AICHR. Allow me first to reiterate what Ben Lindqvist, our former UN Special Rapporteur on Disability, that for us, disability is human rights issue. It's not a charity issue. It's not simply a charity issue. Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights begins with the word, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. It has a very deep meaning as a basis of what we are doing now, as well as what the Agenda and all of you do in your daily work. The year 2015 is a special year for ASEAN. Many activities organized by all pillars of cooperation will be conducted in welcoming and celebrating the status of ASEAN community in December 31st, 2015. It is an integrated community of the region, which is not only ASEAN Economic Community, but it is a community of 3 pillars of cooperation: political security, economic community, and socio-cultural community that will bring effect towards more than 600 million people in the region. The Southeast Asia region, as we are aware, it has a diversity in ethnicity, religions, political backgrounds, systems, cultural, economic disparity, as well as legal system. However, people might forget that as actually have been learned from the report of Agenda on the rise of persons with disability in the election 2 years ago in 2013, the estimated number that Southeast Asian region is a home of 60 million persons with disabilities. This is an incredible significant number that, as it means that ASEAN community will have 15% of the region's populations are people with disability. It is not a matter of number, but it is a factual fact that the people with disability is one of the ASEAN biggest constituents in the region, and hence it has to be able to address the issue as top priority in the community building process. If I may quote the Office of High Commissioner of Human Rights, that persons with disabilities make up the world's largest and most disadvantaged minority. Estimated 20% of the world's poorest persons are those with disabilities. 98% of children with disabilities in developing countries do not attend school. An estimated 30% of the world's street children live with disability. And the literacy rate for adults with disability is as low as 3%, and in some countries, down to 1% for women with disability. Disability can result in poverty too, since disabled persons often face the discrimination and marginalization. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact that ASEAN has officially, through the Charter in 2008, embraces the principles of democracy, rule of law and good governance, respect for and protection of human rights and fundamental freedom as one of its legal and institutional framework for ASEAN community building. It is a legally binding commitment of all 10 ASEAN member states. The ASEAN Charter of 2008 has become the distinction between the old ASEAN, who was suspicious toward human rights and democratic agenda, and a new ASEAN who is trying to learn on human rights as the new norms. In order to uphold these principles, the ASEAN established my commission, the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission of Human Rights in 2009, which is mandated to generally promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedoms in the region. It is also mandated to make human rights standard setting for ASEAN. And all of us also aware that 6 months later, the ASEAN Commission on Women and Children was also established. It has 20 members representing 10 members state of ASEAN, 1 member state represented by 2, the one specific on the right of the child, the other one is specific on the right of women. But those will, of course, should cover the issue of women and children with disabilities. ASEAN, through AICHR, has finalized its first standard-setting work with the adoption of ASEAN Human Rights Declaration in 2012. In the general principles of the ASEAN Human Rights Declarations, Article 2, it is stated that every person is entitled to the rights and freedoms set forth herein without distinction of any kind, such as race, gender, age, language, religions, political or other opinion, national or social origin, economic status, birth, and disability, or other status. It is reiterated in Article 4 of General Principle, saying that the rights of the women, children, and elderly, persons with disabilities, migrant workers, and vulnerable and marginalized groups are an inalienable, integral, and indivisible part of human rights and fundamental freedoms. Furthermore, Article 25 of the ASEAN Human Rights Declaration specifically guarantees the rights of every citizen to vote in a periodic and a genuine election. So the word of genuine election is the biggest challenge how political rights of people with disability or even people without disabilities to enjoy a genuine election, which should be universal and equal suffrage and a secret ballot guaranteeing the free expression of the will of the electors. That is what the Article 25 of the ASEAN Declaration on Human Rights said. The messages are very clear. However, the ultimate question is how to uphold such rights of persons with disabilities by creating an accessible election. The fundamental principle on accessibility is the key and fundamental issue of the PWD, people with disability. The provision of accessibility is the key condition required by persons with disabilities to be able to exercise their rights to participate in the election. The absence to provide the accessibility which makes you fail to attain your right to vote, meaning an abuse to your political rights. Unfortunately, and as a matter of fact, that election process in most ASEAN countries is still not yet disabled people friendly. The fact that Indonesia is having a challenge, as we heard the statement from the chair of Indonesian Election Commission, 11 million people, the numbers of 11 million people with disability in Indonesia is still a very fake numbers, because it is not the numbers that the KPU is actually also searching. Because of many social and cultural constraints that then fail to produce or to have what is actually the most accurate numbers of people with disabilities that will, of course, determine how a policy can then be designed and implemented. The absence to provide makes to fail to attain, and as a matter of fact, election still not disabled friendly. Beside the process within AICHR, the commission that I work for, before 2011, the ASEAN leaders has also adopted the Bali Declaration on the enhancements of the role and participation of the person with disabilities in ASEAN community. The word participation is strongly human rights perspective notion, by which ASEAN recognize the potential contribution of persons with disabilities and their important role and participation in the implementation of all action lines under the ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community Blueprint, which include the scope of cooperation in the person with disabilities in the establishment of ASEAN community by 2015. The declaration also encouraged ASEAN member states to sign and ratify the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability and foster its implementation in the communities. And I am pleased to inform you that I, together with other representatives of ASEAN member states, my colleague within the ASEAN Intergovernmental Commission on Human Rights, have discussed in our meeting possibility to put ratification of CRPD as a priority in exercising our mandate. Our mandate as enshrined in the term of reference of our commission to encourage ASEAN member states to ratify International Human Rights Convention. So as you know, the only universally in the context of ASEAN ratified International Convention of Human Rights are only CEDAW and CRC. And the one which is almost near to the universal ASEAN context is the CRPD. So that is, without saying, that this is a very strong reason why AICHR should actually prioritize in encouraging the other member states who are not yet ratifying the CRPD to do so. One of the most important points in the declaration is that ASEAN leaders proclaim the ASEAN Decade of Persons with Disability 2011-2020. The year is also go along, with the concept of post-2015 agenda, post-2015 ASEAN agenda of ASEAN Blueprint, as a thematic years to promote disabilities inclusive development. Disability inclusive development in ASEAN. Again, another important concept, a disability inclusive development. In order to mainstream rights of persons with disability in all spheres of ASEAN society. 15 major priority areas which are set and aligned with each of the ASEAN pillars are highlighted, depicting that disability is a cross-cutting issue embedded in all three ASEAN community. Again, community of political security, community economic community of ASEAN, and sociocultural community of ASEAN. The 15 lines, one of it, I don't want to mention one by one, yeah, is the political participation and access to justice to people with disabilities. So, political participation is linked directly with the question of access to justice to people with disabilities, which is one of the action line and commitment in the declaration of the 10 years ASEAN decade of person with disabilities. I would strongly suggest that civil society organization, particularly the DPOs, Disability People's Organization, to work closely with the relevant ASEAN sectoral bodies, particularly with AICHR, with the commission that I work for, and the ACWC, the ASEAN Commission on Work on Right of Women and Children, in working on pushing the realization of the 15 major priorities area mentioned in the declaration. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, again, I would like to congratulate Agenda and all of the supporters for having organized this excellent third regional conference. And I'm sure you will have a fruitful exchanges and discussion with a concrete and feasible action in promoting and protecting the political rights of people with disability to ensure the inclusion of this action line in the post-2015 ASEAN political socio-cultural blueprint that currently under the deliberation of recently established ASEAN high-level task force on post-2015 blueprint that will be submitted to the ASEAN leaders in their second summit in 2015. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Rafendi Djamin. Ladies and gentlemen, please give another round of applause. And soon